After the escalation of the conflict in the Middle East, again, that was unfolding over this past weekend, and the subsequent reaction out of the market and the very interesting moves that we have seen across the board, we are setting up for some, let's say, generational opportunity over the next couple of months here across the market as a whole, if you know where to look and what the signs are. In this video, we're going to be breaking down this entire situation and going through a lot of these different sectors here, guys, and making sure that you guys understand exactly what to expect next and what those signs are that you need to look for in order to trigger you to take action here. Because again, there was always a time and a place to be taking action in the market, and days like today where you're seeing things move all over the place are obviously not the best days to be taking meaningful action in your portfolios. These are the days to make sure you are understanding, again, the entire board and what is starting to unfold and what to look for next. So before we get into all of that information, everybody, if you guys do enjoy the information and analysis that I provide for you guys in these videos here, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it helps me out a whole lot in spreading this information out to as many people who actually want to learn. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you guys are, and turn on notifications so you're notified every time these videos do end up getting posted live. And as always, massive shout out to all the members of my private trading and investing community. Less trades, more profits. I'm going to throw up some of the gain screenshots on the screen here. Guys, if you're an individual that wants to become self-sufficient in the market in 2026, make sure you guys check out that link down below. Again, make sure that you are taking advantage of that 2-week free trial to LTMP. Get access to all of the learning educational curriculum series, the daily private live streams, the pre-market plans, the full watch list of stocks and cryptos that are about to explode before they do, and see why everybody in the group loves it so much. But without further ado, let's get right into everything over here. Again, unless you've been living under a rock, the war in the Middle East spiraled further Monday as Israel and the US pounded Iran. Tehran and its allies hit back against Israel, neighboring Gulf states, and targets critical to the world's production of oil and natural gas. U.S. President Donald Trump said the Iran operations are likely to last 4 to 5 weeks, but that he's prepared to go far longer than that. Now, if you were to just kind of read that headline there and then think about what the market's overall reaction was going to be coming into today, I think a lot of us and a lot of market participants would have expected a very significant move to the downside, again, breaking us to the downside of this prior range of consolidation that we have been trapped in for some time. But that is not necessarily what happened. And I want to shift your guys' perspective a little bit on this market here, because again, if you want to have different results than everybody else, you need to be able to think and act differently than they do. So really, since October of last year, when we had the potential for the trade war between the US and China, that escalation to start heating up, the fear that we were not going to be getting a rate cut in December, causing more market volatility. Coming into this year, again, we had these AI bubble fears, and then the fears over what were to happen to the economy and the market if AI were to do a lot more and be more successful than what people had previously thought. A new Fed chair and what that means for the market, and obviously this situation that has been developing and unfolding in the Middle East. But now that we have gotten this, let's say, this additional escalation, and I would say even more action in the Middle East here than what we've seen previously, what I think a lot of investors are going to start doing is, now that we have gotten to this point, they can start looking towards that light at the end of the tunnel for when this conflict is going to start to cool off. And that period could be incredibly bullish for the market, kind of getting another one of these factors here off of its plate. Now let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into some of these other sectors that are witnessing some very significant movements today and what they mean for the market moving forward. So obviously, with this escalation in the Middle East, we are seeing oil prices move sharply to the upside here. Now, wouldn't it have been nice if somebody was telling you guys at the end of January here that oil was going to be that next sector that we were going to start witnessing some significant moves? Again, make sure you guys are following my X account here at Short the VIX 2. Everybody should have been aware of this. This is something that we've been talking about a lot for some time now. But again, a lot of this is going to have to do with the Strait of Hormuz. Shipping giants have suspended operations through the strategically vital Strait of Hormuz following the US and Israel strikes on Iran. The Middle East conflict has stoked fears of prolonged disruption to global trade via key maritime corridors, and there's even reports here of the first oil tanker attacked in the Strait of Hormuz, according to Oman. But this movement to the upside in oil here, not necessarily just what we are seeing today, but this overall shift out of this medium-term downtrend is the most important part of this, because when we come over here and take a look at some of the data, the inflation data that we've seen over the last couple of months here, and also these extrapolations and predictions for what PCE is going to be, the Fed's, again, preferred metric of inflation, CPI and PPI translations into PCE suggest core prices in January rose around 0.43%, give or take. That would be the highest month-over-month reading since February, which was 0.448%, and annualizes to 5.3%. It corresponds to a 3.1% year-over-year rate, the highest since March 2024. When we see these sharp and drastic movements to the upside in oil, obviously that is going to have a very significant driving force to the upside here on our inflation metrics across the United States. This is exactly why in the YouTube video I made last week talking about gold and silver here, when we got to this thesis that some people on social media were talking about in the fixed income market, that bonds would most likely trade a lot higher with this, we always need to think about the bond market as really a reflection of what the Federal Reserve movements are going to be over the next couple of periods that we are going to hear from them. So when rate cut expectations are moving to the upside, we would expect to see bond yields moving to the downside and bond prices moving to the upside. What we're looking at here is the chart of the 10-year Treasury yield, not the prices of these bonds. So again, when these yields are going down, bond prices are moving up. When these yields are going up, the bond prices are going down. But if a lot of the thesis that I've been outlining for you guys includes oil moving to the upside, and then that subsequent pressure to the upside on a lot of these inflation metrics, well, all that's really doing is lowering the argument for more rate cuts coming in the near future than what the market currently expects, which is going to make it very difficult to have these sustained movements to the upside in the bond market. And then let's check in and see how gold is doing today. Gold, again, up about 1.24% here. Again, was up a little bit more in the pre-market session, but we did see a lot of crazy action across the board this morning here. But gold still looks very, very solid for continued upside over the next couple of weeks here. Now, these are the moves that I think a lot of people were expecting to happen. We expected to see gold move to the upside, bonds move to the downside, oil moving up. The S&P move, again, is a little bit strange, but then we start to take a look at some of these other movements here. And one of the most important ones that we've seen in that today, and one that we've been tracking over here, has been Bitcoin. I think a lot of people view Bitcoin, again, as, let's say, an inflation hedge, in over like digital gold. And that's just not how it performs. Bitcoin is more of a, let's say, risk asset, and is going to move in accordance with overall investor risk appetite. When investors are looking to take on more risk in the market, Bitcoin is going to move to the upside. When investors start to get scared here, again, we're going to see Bitcoin aggressively move to the downside. But the fact that we are seeing Bitcoin on a day like today moving aggressively towards the upside here, up 4.5%, breaking back above its daily 10 exponential moving average here, suggests that we could be in for a nice risk-on period in the market, especially if investors in the market is going to start looking at the headlines coming out of this situation in the Middle East and really interpreting a lot of those headlines as we are moving closer towards the conflict actually ending and cooling off, which again provides that light at the tunnel for the market that it wants. Now, we are also seeing things like software moving to the upside here today as well. This is IGV, the iShares Expanded Tech Software Sector ETF. Now, there are a couple of more reasons as to why this might be happening today as well in both software, Bitcoin, and we're also seeing Mag 7 getting aggressively bid up off of that pretty significant gap to the downside this morning, falling down below its daily 200 exponential moving average. And one of those things is this chart right here. This is the United States ISM manufacturing PMI, and today was the second period or second reading in a very significant period of time that ISM manufacturing was above 50. Now, for those of you guys that don't necessarily know exactly what this is here, again, it's a crucial monthly gauge of U.S. economic economic activity based on surveys of manufacturing purchasing managers. A PMI reading above 50 indicates growth in the manufacturing sector, while a reading below 50 signifies contraction compared to the previous month. The index equally weights 5 key components: new orders, production, employment, supplier deliveries, and inventories. The ISM report is one of the earliest economic indicators released each month, influencing investor and business confidence here. Now, when you combine that with the unemployment rate, again, at the last reading here, we saw it November at 4.5%, December at 4.4%, and now January, the unemployment rate coming in at 4.3% here. It's showing us signs that the overall economy might be starting to heat up a little bit again. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, if unemployment starts to move to the downside and this economic activity starts to move up and we start to see inflation ticking back to the upside, well, would that bring us back to a period where the Federal Reserve could decide to start raising interest rates? And I would say, obviously, it is way too early to decide that, even though, again, we've seen a lot of these FOMC members come out and say that they're not really considering rate hikes right now. And the other thing that we also need to consider is that think about that light at the end of the tunnel idea here, where investors are going to look more towards the cooling off of this conflict. Every single time, let's say over the next couple of weeks, if that timeline is correct, that we do receive some positive news that this is when the conflict is going to start to end, oil prices are then most likely going to end up moving back to the downside and mean reverting most likely to somewhere around that 200 exponential moving average. The only time that we would really see or get a little bit fearful about these about inflation starting to aggressively move back to the upside, if we were to see oil continue this, again, near parabolic move that it's slowly starting today, back to the upside into the mid 80s and low 90s. If we were to see that, then we would have to get a little bit worried, but then really understand the context of that move and if there was that likelihood in the near future for there to be some resolutions and then for oil to mean revert back to the downside anyway. So even though there are so many different ways to be interpreting the action that we're seeing today, just even in bonds, and I didn't even bring this up until now, that selling in the bond market, again, could be another area to say, okay, we're looking at some more risk on behavior, selling in bonds, buying in risk assets such as Bitcoin, going back into software, going back into Mag 7. That's another way to interpret some of the moves that we're seeing. But like I said in the beginning of this video, days like today are not really the days that you want to be going out and making significant and long-term decisions in the market. What we always need to be doing as market participants here, and something that I say time and time again, is that I'm perfectly fine with being late to the party, but we have to make sure that there is a party going on. Remember how we were talking about Bitcoin a couple of days ago here, where we did see this initial shift back to the upside above that daily 10 exponential moving average, and what I said was, well, that's a really good sign and a good start to this move, but we really need to see this hold above its daily 10 exponential moving average and the buyers to step up. We are back in a very, very similar situation on Bitcoin right now that we were the last time that we saw this aggressive move back to the upside. So what all investors need to be doing now is looking at this market from a frame of cautious optimism here. We need to make sure that we are getting those additional layers of confirmation. Let's say confirming that the market is actually looking for those new signs that the conflict in the Middle East is starting to cool off. We see oil move down, maybe gold witnesses a little bit of volatility, and then we start to see the equity markets and some of the more risk-on areas, such as Bitcoin, such as software, starting to make those pushes back to the upside, meaningfully shifting these short to medium term and sometimes kind of medium to long-term downtrends that some of these sectors have actually been in. So at the end of the day, and as of right now, the market has failed to move lower and has actually moved to the upside on pretty significantly bad news coming out over the weekend with this conflict escalating in the Middle East here. So guys, that is going to wrap up this video here. If you guys did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided for you guys in this one, make sure you go down and hit that like button. Costs you nothing to do it, but it helps me out a whole lot in spreading this information out to as many people who actually want to learn. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you guys are, and turn on notifications so you're notified every time these videos do end up getting posted live. But until next time, guys, I will see you. Peace.